A police handgun doesn't have to be exciting. It has to survive the department. And when it doesn't, it turns into paperwork, investigations, someone explaining what went wrong. That's where this starts. Not at the range, not on YouTube. In rooms where nobody cares what's popular, only what didn't hold up. Most people think departments choose the best pistol. They don't. They remove the ones that cause problems because it's not one shooter, it's thousands. Different hands, bad grip, cold mornings, missed maintenance. If a gun slips even a little under that pressure, it doesn't survive long. This is what shapes the best pistols USA police departments prefer to carry in 2026. But let me tell you something. Some of the most trusted names didn't lose, they got replaced quietly. This list is what keeps showing up after that happens. One pistol held on longer than it should have. Another stepped in and fixed what kept going wrong. And the new number one, it didn't win attention, it replaced a problem. Some departments don't issue the Beretta M9A1 anymore, but they don't clear it out either. It stays in the armory, like something nobody fully signs off on getting rid of. A few years back, during training tied to the Illinois State Police Academy, one larger agency hit a rough patch while transitioning officers onto lighter striker-fired pistols. On paper, everything looked better, faster, simpler, more modern. But on the line, something started feeling off. Grip issues, fatigue, inconsistent runs started stacking up. One of the senior armorers, old military background, carried the M9 for years, quietly pulled a few M9A1s out of storage during qualification week. No speech. He just put them back into rotation. 3 long days, high round count, tired shooters, sloppy handling. The M9A1 didn't care. It just kept cycling. No hesitation, no strange behavior. And that's when it got uncomfortable because the old gun wasn't the one people were fighting anymore. Nobody made a big deal out of it. But a few of the older guys went quiet because they remembered what this thing was built for. Now, here's the reality in 2026. Departments aren't choosing guns like this anymore. They're moving toward lighter, simpler, striker-fired pistols that are easier to train across entire agencies. That's why the M9A1 isn't getting picked today, but it's still sitting there. And if you're paying attention, that usually means the newer gun solved comfort and speed, but not everything this one handled without asking. Too many decisions, like that's where guys start screwing up. That's what I heard after a long training day. No lecture, no ego, just a tired narcotics officer leaning against the truck, talking like he'd already seen how things go wrong. Someone asked why he never switched to newer pistols. Lighter, faster, easier. He didn't even think about it. I've got enough decisions to make when everything goes sideways. My sidearm doesn't get to be one of them. That answer sticks because it cuts through all the noise. The Sig P226 isn't easy. That first double action pull forces discipline. The weight wears on you. It asks more from the shooter than most modern pistols do. And that's exactly why a lot of departments moved away from it. But here's the part people don't say out loud. Once someone actually masters it, the gun stops being something they manage and starts being something they trust without thinking. And under pressure, that shift matters more than specs ever will. That doesn't mean it fits 2026. It doesn't. Departments today are choosing pistols that work across everyone, not just the ones willing to put in that level of work. Simpler systems, faster onboarding, less room for user error. That's why the P226 isn't the answer anymore. But it leaves a question sitting there. Do you want a gun that's easier to run, or one that stops being a decision when the pressure shows up? Which is exactly why what came after this didn't try to demand more from the officer. It tried to remove that burden completely. If you've watched my videos for a while, you already know I've got history with the FN 509 series. But this wasn't a range day, and it wasn't a test. A few months ago, a contact at Harris County Sheriff's Office said it straight. They signed off on the FN 509 MRD-LE. That's not a small department making a casual switch. That's scale. That's thousands of officers, different skill levels, different conditions, one decision. And decisions like that don't come down to what shoots best. They come down to what holds up across an entire system. No time to build custom setups, no room for inconsistency between officers, no patience for platforms that need extra tuning to work the way they should. That's where the 509 MRD-LE fits. It shows up already configured like a duty gun, optics ready, built to take abuse, designed to drop into service without departments having to piece it together part by part. Not flashy, not cheap, not something officers brag about, but it solves a problem most agencies are tired of dealing with. Too many variables. That's why something like this gets chosen in 2026. Not because it's perfect, because it reduces friction at scale. And once departments start choosing guns like that, the next step isn't about what works. It's about what makes the entire system easier to run. It happened fast. Early 2026, Department Range Day. Timed qualification. One of the newer officers was already gassed, pushing through the last string. Then it slipped. Support hand lost position during the reload. Grip twisted just enough to throw things off. The kind of moment where runs usually fall apart. A couple of the older instructors leaned forward before it even finished. They'd seen that exact mistake too many times, but it didn't spiral. The Glock 17 Gen 5 kept moving. The cycle finished clean, and he got through it without stopping to recover. That's where it got quiet. Not because it was impressive, because it didn't turn into a problem. One of the instructors muttered he'd seen that same slip on older generations, and it usually forced a correction, just enough to break rhythm. This time, it stayed controlled. The Gen 5 didn't make him better, didn't make him faster, just didn't add anything extra when things started going wrong. That's why departments keep coming back to the Glock 17. Not because it saves bad reps, but because everything around it is easy to run. And that raises a different question. What matters more, the gun itself, or everything built around it? The next one doesn't rely on that at all. It's 2026, and something strange started happening around the Springfield Echelon. Nobody talks about it. Not in the way cops usually do. No arguments, no loyalty debates, no strong opinions getting thrown around. It just doesn't come up, and that's where it gets interesting, because most duty pistols earn their reputation one way or another, good or bad. Something shows up. Complaints. Patterns. With the Echelon, that pattern feels missing. It doesn't dominate conversations. It doesn't get blamed when something feels off. It just stays out of it. That's a weird place for a duty gun to sit, because on paper, the Echelon is exactly the kind of pistol departments are starting to look at when they want a modern duty setup without rebuilding everything around an old platform. Modular frame system, strong optics mounting, duty size controls, and enough flexibility to fit different officers without turning the whole program into a custom project. Especially over time, different shooters, different conditions. That's usually where something starts to surface, but here, not much does. And that leaves you with a different kind of question. Not how well does it perform, but why it never seems to become the problem in the first place. No spotlight, no noise. Just a pistol that slowly disappears from the conversation entirely. And when something stays quiet that long, departments notice, because silence is usually what they were trying to buy in the first place. It's not sneaking onto duty belts anymore. It's showing up late shift, storm rolling in, radio traffic stacking fast. I was riding with a patrol unit outside Dallas when things started stacking. Calls stacking, weather turning ugly, everyone running tired. The officer didn't hesitate. When the PDP came out, there was no fumbling with the grip, no hunting for control, no moment where the gun looked like it was fighting him. No second guessing, just that committed draw you only see when someone trusts what's in their hand. And that's the part that keeps repeating. Not hype, not marketing. The same pattern, different places. When the PDP comes up, the room listens. That line stuck because it keeps proving itself right. This isn't about being new. It's about what shows up when officers are tired, wet, dirty, and running on fumes. The trigger, the grip, the way it tracks. It doesn't start fighting the shooter when things get messy, not because everyone loves it, because it's getting harder to ignore. The old guard still pushes back, but the ones actually running it, They're done debating. And when the arguing stops like that, you're not watching a trend anymore. You're watching something take hold, which makes what's sitting at number 1 even harder to explain, because it didn't push its way in like this. Day after Christmas, I'm sitting on a cold range bench watching the few officers left on the line unwind. Not much talking, just brass hitting concrete and smoke hanging low. I spot Officer Elena Vasquez, sleeves rolled up, M&P 2.0 compact in her hands, still carrying the tension of a shift that didn't end easy. Curiosity gets me. I lean over. Why trust that one? No pitch, no speech, just a look. And then she answers, Wilkinson Boulevard. Late night, gas station lit up, masked guy inside, clerk frozen. Cruiser hits the lot hard, tires screaming. Elena steps out already set, hand on the M&P like it's part of her. Suspect fires first, glass explodes. She moves, voice sharp. Pushes him into the alley. He clears a fence, turns with the gun, half raise. 2 shots tight, 1 to the leg, 1 to the arm. Done. And the part that matters, this isn't a one-off. When backup rolls in, the clerk's alive, the suspect's bleeding out, and Elena's already steady again. Like nothing needs to be said. Later, someone asks if the M&P still earns its keep. She wipes sweat off her brow. Every damn night. That's it. No speech, no explanation. After all the testing, switching, debating, this is what stays. Not because it wins arguments, because nobody replaces it. So those are the pistols you can actually buy right now and trust. Don't go your way. Not the most hyped, not the most expensive, just the ones that did when everything else started falling apart. Plenty of reliable kit here. Failure, one bad moment under pressure, and they were done. No chances. Because when it matters, it doesn't care what label you believed in. Now, part that still bothers me, that last gun, it outperformed everything on this list. Clean, smoother, no. Maybe I'm wrong. Or maybe that's the one you shouldn't ignore. I'm Steve. Pick what you trust. Just know you don't get to test that decision twice.